Welcome to BA Pro. In this video, we will look into the UI testing, which is the first part of functional testing. Let's take an example that your company started developing a new project and asked you to test registration module in that project. They gave you the application URL. They also gave you the specs related to that module. The specs or requirements can be in the form of spreadsheet or Word document. Here, the details are in the spreadsheet. Here, the first tab of the document consists of the screen layout and fields information. And the second tab contains the functional requirements related to that module. First, we need to perform UI testing based on this information. The screen name is user registration, and there are a lot of fields here. So we have the field name, types of fields, mandatory, field length, valid data, and default selection columns, and which specifies all the different information. The first field name is first name. It's a text box and it is mandatory. The field length is 20 and it should have only alphabets and there is no default selection. Similarly, second one is last name and it's a text box. It's also mandatory. It should have 20 characters field length and allows only alphabets. Third one is date of birth. It's a calendar and it is also a mandatory. And here you can see it is formatted in month slash day slash year. So in total, it consists of 10 characters, month to day to year 4. So total, including slashes, it's kind of 10. Next one is gender. It's radio button. So it is also mandatory and we have two options for selection, male and female. And there is no default selection. The next one is employed field. It's a drop down. It is also mandatory and it should have three metadata items for selection: blank, yes, no, and blank should be defaultly selected. The next one is address. It's a text area. It should take more information, it's kind of 200 characters it should allow, and it's an alphanumeric type. Alphanumeric means alphabets and numerics it should allow. So generally it should allow special characters also, but for example, let's take it is asked only for alphanumeric. The next one is phone number. It's a text box. It's also mandatory and the field length is 10. It's a 10 digits phone number it should allow. And it's a default selection is nothing should be there by default. Next one is receive messages. It's a checkbox. It's not mandatory, but the default is unchecked and user should be allowed to select that one. And the last one is a submit. It's a button. So we need to use all this information to do our UI testing first. This is the first part of the functional testing. So let's do that validation with respect to the fields. Here I resized the spreadsheet and also the screen so that you can see both at the same time. So here I added one more tab to the spreadsheet for our UI validation. So here you can see, so here I used a checklist to test all the screen elements. Either you can write a test cases or you can directly use checklist like this. So here we will verify all the fields listed. So kind of one by one we are going to verify. The first thing is all fields listed in the BRD are present or not. So let's see what are all the different fields available here. So we'll verify, we'll start with the screen name. You can see the first thing it is saying that screen name should be the user registration. We'll verify that. And next one is the first field is the first name. The first name, it's a text box. Yes, it's a text box. And the remaining things, the mandatory field lengths, we will verify that during the next session, that is the input domain validation. let's look into the next one, last name. The last name, it's also a text box. And the next one is date of birth. Date of birth is a calendar. Let's see whether the calendar is present or not. Yeah, that's there. The next one is a gender. It's a radio buttons to select male or female. Yeah, yes, those are radio buttons and those are selectable. And you can see there is no default selection there, so we selected that male and female things here. The next one is employed. You can see the default selection is blank. You can see the drop down with blank by default, and there are other options available for selection, kind of yes or no. And the next one is address. Address is a text area. Yes, it's big enough. And then it's there also, you don't have any default information. And the next one is phone number. The phone number, yep, it's a text box. And the last one is receive message. So you can see the last one, it's not selected by default, and we can select check or uncheck that checkbox. And last but not least, that's a submit button. So let's record our status here. Yes, the first one is pass. The second one is screen elements contrast. Yes, those looks good. So each element can be distinguishable. That's a pass. Next, alignment. Alignment looks good. It's pass. Font uniformity. Yes, everything is in a good font. So most of the fields, almost all the fields are with the same font. It's pass. The next one is spacing. Yep, those are sufficient enough spaces between the fields. Yes, it's pass. First letter is capitalized. Yes, it's a pass. Keyboard access. Let me just use my keyboard. Let me just press tab from first name. Yes, it is going through all the tabs. When I'm pressing the tab, it is navigating to each and every field. Yes, that looks good. So it's a pass. Next one is default object selections. Yes, we saw that the employed and received messages. It's pass. Next one is uniform background color. Yes, it looks good. It's pass. Next one is full form, example, date, month. Yeah, so here you can see the month, day, year is our format for date of birth. Yes, that's pass. So here you can add more things to this checklist, just like logo or other things as needed and based on your prior experience or other templates. So this is how you can just validate either using the checklist, or you can directly write test cases and just do your testing. This concludes UI testing. Thanks for watching.